Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Alan Ruff, Tam McManus and Alison McConnell here with us on the show. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget you can hit that subscribe button and that will let you join the football family. It's uncensored, unbiased, unmatched, and if you want to, you can engage with lots of people who watch the programme and of course offer your own opinion, which we will try our best to read out as many as possible. We'll announce the winner of the competition from last week and then launch our new competition for you for this week, which I think if you've got any young girl or boy who loves their football and collects the football cards, it's definitely worth tuning in and getting involved in it. So with that in mind, we start with a little kind of an emotional day because Frank McGarvey was laid to rest today and our reporter Adam Binney was there to cover it. And with that in mind, Ruffy, we were there. It was quite sad.
Yeah, it was. It's always sad when somebody passes away that you know particularly well, and it's good to see a lot of old faces from St Mirren and from Celtic and some of the clubs that Frank played with. Big turnout, as you would expect, because that's the kind of guy Frank was, you know. Everybody loved being in his company, he always had something to say. But yeah, quite a sad occasion. Yeah,
and I thought his son Sean really kind of summed up what Frank was all about. He was really funny.
Yeah, I didn't know the one that he was always turning up at people's doors at 7 in the morning and 7:30 looking for a cup of tea and all that, you know. But everybody that knew him, you know, expected it. You know, if the door went at that time in the morning, it was Frank just wanting a chat.
Yeah, what a turnout as well. Just briefly on that, Ruffy, a lot of faces that we haven't seen in a long while.
Yeah, Murdo McLeod was there, Packy was there. Obviously, St Mirren did a wee speech as well. A lot of people. Campbell Money, I noticed Campbell was there.
Davy Hay, seen him.
Davy Hay was there as well. Yeah, it was a really, really good turnout.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from everyone on the Football Show, once again, our thoughts and prayers with the family who were absolutely immense today, just making sure that they had a great turnout, a great send-off for their dad. And thank you to so many people who've posted some lovely messages about that as well. The one downside to the whole thing is, Ruffy, I've never witnessed a guy like yourself who destroyed that many hymns in one single sitting. You are absolutely tone deaf. You really need to stop ruining some great hymns.
No, I was trying to keep on the same sort of, is it an octane you call it, a level?
Octave.
Between you, Andy Walker on one side and you on the other side, you know, and the both of you were at different levels. Yeah. So I had to try and find a middling bit.
Oh, you know, found it all right, by the way. Yours was monotone. Anyway, competition. Let's first of all tell you that the competition from last week was a Rangers shirt and also the programme from the Europa League final, which I think was fantastic. A great prize for anybody who was a Rangers fan. We looked at all the entries, including those who had subscribed, and Ben Friels, congratulations to you, Ben. He's a big Rangers fan. He'll be happy because he's got the shirt on its way to him, and he'll also get the match programme as well. And I think, Ruffy, the good thing about these things, if you can get them signed by a few players, you get it in a frame with the programme, couple of wee pictures, get it framed, you've got a great memento.
Oh, that's fantastic, you know, and that's what supporters, a lot of supporters don't get a chance, you know, to get their hands on this kind of memorabilia, you know, and as you say, you know, I hope he does get it signed and get it framed because they look really good in the house.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, from last week's competition, here's this week's.
PLZ Soccer has teamed up with Attax to give you the chance to win this fantastic box of all your favourite Scottish football stars. We're also throwing in a starter pack and 2 multi-packs to give your boy or girl the perfect start to their collection of all their favourite SPFL players. To win this fantastic prize, all you have to do is answer this simple question: who is the current PFA Scotland Player of the Year? Post your answer in the comment section below, and to double your chances of winning, all you have to do is subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Good luck.
Yeah, good prize, Ruffy.
Brilliant prize.
Yeah.
Try to think who the player is, isn't you?
No, I'm trying to think of the question, yeah. But I think we all remember when I was young anyway, you used to go into the newsagent and that was the first thing you bought on the way to school, you know, and you see...
Did they have colour?
Was it colour? The colour ones, Panini ones. The only problem was you used to get chewing gum in them. You got a big bit of chewing gum, so if you did it
stick it on your desk at school?
No, if you had 6 or 8 cards, you're obviously eating the chewing gum as you got up into school. So when you get into the class, you know, you're...
Yeah.
And the teacher says, right away, you'll get cards.
Yeah.
You book cards on the way in here.
Well, I have to tell you, well done to Match Attax, because they have brought out, these great cards which you get a chance to collect, and we've also, as you know, they're thrown in the starter packs with the album as well. Ali, it doesn't get any better. The only thing about it is every time you go out, you go to a newsagent, you got to think of your boy or girl and whether it's worth buying the extra ones.
It costs you a fortune, so yeah, for any parent out there, it's as good a prize as it is for the kids.
Absolutely, it's not often you get a box, Tam, is it?
No, it isn't. It's a great prize, and as I said, if somebody collects them, it's a young boy or girl, it's a great prize for a Scottish football fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, short and sharp. Usually a wee bit longer than that. But anyway, let's crack on. A couple of things I want to draw to your attention before we get into the meat and bones of it. First of all, it looks as if Georgios Giacomakis is on his way to Urawa Reds. It's a strange one. It's a strange move. It's not for a lot of money either, but I think he was digging his heels in on what he thought he was worth. Celtic maybe didn't think that was what they thought he was worth, and suddenly he's heading out of the club.
Yeah, I think it's quite a surprising move. I know there's been a lot of chat over the last few weeks. I just wonder about maybe the advice that he's received. I think clearly there's been a financial aspect to the move in terms of salary and return. I think he might have been better advised to sit even just to the end of the season and see what transpired then. I think he made a notable contribution to Celtic. I think he was the joint top scorer last season. And it's interesting now because I think Celtic will have to replace him. I think they can't rely just on Kyogo. I think they'll need to bring in another forward.
Yeah, okay. Elsewhere, Tam, Hearts, Kai Rolls, 5-year deal. Good bit of business.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with him actually. Came over from Australia obviously, and I think that Hearts have signed a few from Australia. I think Craig Moore's in there advising them, and they've brought some great players in there, and I think he's had a good World Cup as well. So I think that they're doing their business. Hearts getting their top players signed up on long contracts, and that can only be beneficial for them going forward, because I think that Hearts this season are building a really, really strong squad ahead of next season.
Yeah, okay. You can give us your opinion as well on the transfer deals and, of course, on the incidents involved in the game, whether it's VAR or the topics of discussion, the hot topics of discussion in both semi-finals. So we'll offer your opinion now, and then obviously we'll get ready for this week's round of abuse. I may as well start with the two semi-finals of the two contentious issues. One, I can't believe Kilmarnock never got a penalty. Second one, Anthony Stewart deserved to go. How did you see both those incidents before we get into each semi-final?
Just these two?
Yeah.
Penalty for me. I thought it was a clumsy challenge from a centre forward, which sometimes you expect when they're put in that position. I think Kilmarnock had every right to at least have a look at it. And I think if you'd had a look at it, you would have gotten a penalty.
Yeah. And Anthony Stewart?
Outrageous.
Bewildering?
Just outrageous. When I saw it, I obviously saw the Rangers. I saw the Rangers player on the ball, and not obviously saw him, coming in for the side, and the speed that he came in at was just outrageous.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you would want to tackle somebody like that away out wide.
I don't think you had to go to VAR.
No, he didn't have to go to VAR, and in the same way that Stewart, he did not need to be so rash. I think he's going nowhere. There's no threat, there's no sense of danger. Just usher him down the line, but he went steaming in, and it was the pace. I think around us there was a collective gasp when you see the tackle go in, and then when you see it back again, I think it got even worse with every view. And I don't think there was any ambiguity about it at all. I think it's a straight red.
Yeah, penalty.
Yes.
Yep. Tam?
I totally agree with everything you've been saying. Let's not forget about the decision for St Mirren never got on Friday night. I thought that was a really poor decision as well.
Yeah.
The handball from Rolls, who we just spoke about, poor officiating. St Mirren robbed probably a point, but yeah, I thought Anthony Stewart is Captain Calamity. I mean, every game I've watched Aberdeen, they've been well in the games, and he's cost them. St Mirren away. Last man pulled them down. They scored from the free kick, lost the game. The clearance straight to Scott Arfield up at Pittodrie for the winning goal, and then that. Aberdeen well in the game, and that has cost them dearly. It's a ridiculous tackle from an experienced player, and it's not been a good week for him at all in terms of speaking about the press about Morelos. So I think you'll see Andrew Shinnie being the captain there going forward. I don't
Graham Shinnie.
Sorry, Andrew Shinnie. Graham Shinnie. I think that Graham Shinnie will be the captain. I don't think you can trust Anthony Stewart. I don't think the manager can trust him. If he keeps playing him as a captain, he'll end up getting him jotted. the manager.
Okay. Well, there you have it. You have your opinions. You can give us your opinion on it, because we like to engage with everybody. Obviously, you've got to try and
Some people are talking about the Barisic tackle as well.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. I was just talking about the main contentious ones. Calm your jets until you do the running order. Right. Okay, first game, Celtic Kilmarnock, 2-0. Not a great pitch, Ruffy. It wasn't in good nick, was it?
It's not in good nick compared to what they're playing on. There's no doubt about that. But I think somebody said to you once, good players can play on any surface, and I think you've just got to get on with it. That's you see the surface, you've seen it cut out, just get on with it. I can appreciate why they're complaining, because they do play in wonderful surfaces now, but as I said there, I think good players should be able to play on it, and it never spoiled it for me. Sometimes when you get a pitch like that, it makes it a wee bit more exciting. It's a wee bit of a leveller.
Yeah, okay. Ange wasn't happy with the Hampden pitch.
I'm disappointed with the state of the pitch. I thought that would be better. I mean, you know when you come to Hampden, it's a showcase event, and you kind of want the conditions to be the best they possibly can. Like I said, you can't control the weather, but even when I walked out before the game, I was disappointed in the pitch. There's a game there tomorrow, so it's going to be tough for the two teams tomorrow as well.
Of course, the weather didn't help, Tom.
Oh, it's been raining it's been bucketing down. It's been Noah's Ark for about 2 weeks, so I don't think you can really have a go at Hampden in the surface. I just think the weather, and it was blowing a gale as well. It was terrible conditions, particularly Saturday night for a game. So I think that's a bit hard. I don't think they could have done much better, and there's not been any football on it, so I'm sure they've been looking after the surface.
Felt more sorry for Rangers.
Yeah, the two teams
playing it the next day.
Worse the next day. Yeah.
So they maybe have something to say about it.
Yeah. Okay. In the end, it was always going to be tight. Kelly battled away. You couldn't make it up though for Kyle Lafferty. I mean, all the hullabaloo about he's back, 10-game suspension, into the game, and would you know it, he tries to clear it and belts it off Maeda.
Yeah, for the opening goal of the game, I thought it was a really turgid game. I thought Celtic were never as fluent as they have been. I think maybe the pitch did have a part to play in that in terms of the conditions, but I thought Kilmarnock offered a resistance that just wasn't there when they had met in the league the previous weekend. I think I did think it was a penalty. The Jackie Marcus incident, I thought it was incredibly clumsy. I think anywhere else in the pitch it's probably a foul, so for me it was a penalty. And then obviously Celtic had a couple of offside goals chopped off too, just at the start of the second period. I think when you get to the semi-final stage, it's about going through, it's about making sure that you're in the final. I think no one tends to remember too much the performances of the semi-final, but I don't think it was a showcase performance from Celtic on any level.
Yeah, the penalty, Derek McInnes, as you can understand now, it's week in, week out, and it's not, I think we were emphasising the point last week, a lot of fans out with Celtic and Rangers are so angry when you're talking about summits, just because there's been contentious moments in an Old Firm game when there's equally frustrating moments for managers elsewhere. Derek McInnes not happy that Giakoumakis wasn't penalised and Kelly were awarded a penalty.
It was a heavy pitch, difficult conditions out there, but we needed everybody to do their job right, and I feel as though the penalty at the end, it's Joe Wright's been manhandled. There's no way Giakoumakis can actually get to the ball, but he's come through him, two arms round him. It's a penalty kick. I don't understand why. The referee's got a brilliant view. I don't understand why that is not a penalty.
See, you've got to have tremendous sympathy for Derek there, because quite simply, Tam, you're in a situation where managers week in, week out now are absolutely slaughtering VAR, and they're slaughtering it because quite simply, if we're using it, then the VAR referee is either not, he's looking at it in a totally different light from the way everybody else is interpreting it, and sometimes the referee just doesn't even get a chance to look at it when he should.
I'd be flabbergasted if I never get told in his ear, you look at that, that incident from VAR. I think that we all thought that VAR was going to be a great thing for Scottish football. We thought it was going to be a great thing for referees, it was going to help them, but it's only exposed how bad our officials are. Honestly, I cannot believe any official on any level can look at that on a screen and think that is not a foul. It's a foul anywhere else in the pitch. He's clumsy, the ball's coming in, he's two arms wrapped round him, pulls him down. It's a stonewall penalty kick, and I just don't understand how you can't give that. If I'm Derek McInnes and Kilmarnock, Kilmarnock fans, I'm absolutely raging at that decision.
And by the way, Alison, I can hear, and I know it happens for a fact because I've been privy to lots of meetings. You know, you'll have referees turning around and going, the public and the pundits and the footballers, they just don't know the rules. Well, you know, you only have to look at what is happening in England right now from the fallout from the Manchester United-Manchester City game. If you don't know the rules, and Rashford's not interfering with play. I mean, that was so outrageous. If that had happened in a Rangers-Celtic game, we would have had a government inquiry and 13 summits to work out who was on, which school they went to, who they were supporting as a boy, and which pub they drank in. Is that fair?
Yes. I actually felt so sorry for the goalkeeper, because from that perspective you're thinking, well, who are you focusing on? If he's not, you know, where does your focus lie? I think the problem with the refereeing is how subjective decisions are. There seems to be too much ambiguity around certain instances. Handball would be a classic one where no one seems to know what constitutes a handball anymore because it's such a grey area, and it tends to come down to the referee's interpretation of what the rule is. Now, as you've seen over the last 3 months so far, not even 3 months, 2 months, that varies from game to game and from official to official. There doesn't seem to be a standardised assessment of what constitutes a foul, and I think it's the same for things like that, the Jackie Marcus incident. I don't think there's any question that that's a foul. I think there's no real intent to play the ball. I think it's clumsy. It's a foul, and I would agree with Tam. How you look at it and come to a conclusion that there's no foul and it's play on, that's what baffles people. And also what the sense of frustration is a lack of communication that then comes out to explain why referees come to the decision that they come to. There doesn't seem to be any transparency around that. Yeah,
the handball's one thing, Ruffy, but both arms round somebody and flattening them in the middle of the penalty area, there's no grey area on that.
No, there isn't, you know.
It's only 1-0 at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, and it shows you how crucial it is. And if you're the manager and the players of Kilmarnock, you are going to say there's an injustice here because that was a penalty. Another interesting one, when I seen the papers this morning, I didn't know that the ball had hit Maeda's hand off a Lafferty into the goal. I don't know if you've seen the photographs of that. He's got his hands up and the ball hits him and goes in the goal.
No, we didn't, and that's why we're staying silent on it. You say it hit Maeda's hand.
Yeah. Well, I know photographs can be thing-made, but the photograph I saw this morning in the papers...
Do you get the pictures of the Daily Sport?
I was just about to say...
I got the last guy.
Ruffy, I'm going to actually have a look and see.
It clearly hits his hand, but if we go along the rules of the Goldson one, he was probably protecting his face.
Yeah,
also,
well, apart from that, Celtic got away with one, there's absolutely no doubt about it, and then went on to get the second goal. Were they worthy winners?
I think overall they probably were. I think they merited it over the course of the 90 minutes, but I'd go back to what I said earlier. I thought it was turgid. I didn't think there was any fluency within the game at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was a game that was played and befitting of the conditions in which it was played in. I think it was ragged at times.
Yeah, okay, thanks to so many so many people here. Alan says, I think actually some people said racist as Ruffy been sniffing glue.
I'm going to bring that photograph in tomorrow and let you have a look at it.
And there was another one that flashed past there. Has Ruffy been drinking? And also there was one there that says Ruffy must have seen the Photoshop one. But you would never know unless you actually know how to check your sources on these things. But listen, you get an opinion. We thought it was a penalty. How it never was given is bemusing, to say the least. The problem is Kilmarnock find themselves out, Celtic are in the final, and then they're waiting to see what was going to happen in the next game, which was Rangers against Aberdeen, which, on the basis of the pitch, Ruffy, I thought it was a better game than the Celtic Kilmarnock one.
Yeah, I think Aberdeen stepped up and made it a game. I thought obviously them getting the first goal gave them a bit of a leeway, you know, and I thought once they'd once they'd got that, I thought they were going to see it out. I mean, I thought Rangers had ran out of ideas a wee bit, and I have to say, you might disagree with me again, I thought they got out of jail with their goal, because that was getting nowhere near the goal. You know, and the deflection took it into the back of the net.
So?
Yeah, definitely.
It took a huge
it was going nowhere near.
I think it was
the
on
goal.
target, Ruffy.
I think it was on
Never
target.
going to go in.
I didn't think it was on target.
I thought it was on.
I do think it was on. I do think it was going straight to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I thought it was on target, and then it took a nick that swerved it away. But listen, it doesn't matter. It's a goal. But the game itself was better because Aberdeen had a kind of a game plan which was not park the bus. It was very much a situation, okay, you know, we'll try and pick our moments, and then Rangers do play a high line, see if you can pick in behind them, and boy, they managed to do it with Miovski's goal.
Yeah, even the one that was offside, on first viewing, live viewing, I thought he was well offside.
Yeah.
When you come back and you look at it again, he'd strayed offside, but there wasn't a huge amount in it. He was off, but there wasn't a huge amount in it. But I thought he finished that particularly well. I thought it was a great finish. I thought they were clever, Aberdeen, in that move. Just they really capitalised in Barisic and Davis. Just the hesitancy, because you can see Miovski's offside. Kennedy's got the presence of mind to go on and play it in. I thought it was a decent goal. I feared for Aberdeen in the first 5 minutes. I thought Rangers came out fairly aggressively. I thought they started well. Once they had weathered the storm in the first 5 or 10 minutes and settled into the game, I thought it became very competitive. And I thought it was fairly balanced up until the red card. I think the red card it turns the game entirely on its head. And I think even by that point, on such a heavy surface, you could see that Aberdeen were tired and Rangers had the bulk of the ball. You could see that there were some heavy legs, and once you go a man down, then you know you're really facing an uphill battle. Yeah,
well, strangely enough, I thought in the second half, once Michael Beale had his half-time team talk, that's when I thought Rangers started to get that kind of a grip on it and realised, look, got to relentlessly try and push for that equaliser. Okay, it was a little bit fortuitous, but I thought they really started to get a grip in the game.
Yeah, they did. I thought they started the game better than Aberdeen. Aberdeen, I thought, were always in the game. Second half, Rangers got a grip of the game. Once they got equaliser, I think everyone thought, no, Rangers going to win this now. But Aberdeen were really dangerous on the break. I thought they had some real big performances within their team. I thought Scales was very, very good. I thought Shinnie was the best player in the park. I thought he was outstanding. I thought Duke, when he was on, and Miovski caused Rangers problems at the back. I thought they were a threat up front. And that's why I think Aberdeen took a lot of criticism for their set-up against Celtic, because they've got players that can cause teams problems, and they showed that yesterday. But I just think the red card we've obviously spoke about, that totally changed the game. I thought that Aberdeen, even in extra time, with a man down, created a couple of chances, finished the game strongly. So you're wondering, what would have happened if they'd have kept 11 men on the pitch. But as Ali said earlier, semi-finals are all about winning. But Aberdeen can take I think they can take a lot of credit from the performance. I think the fans applauded them off the pitch. They realised that their team gave everything. They came down, they had a real go at Rangers, and unfortunately they were on the wrong side of a narrow defeat. But I think if you're looking at Aberdeen, I thought they played really well, and it's a really encouraging performance going forward for them. Yeah.
What about the penalty kick? If you the red card, sorry. If you are a manager and you have a captain who makes a tackle like that in an area where, as Ali said, there wasn't any real threat, what do you do when you get into the dressing room if you've been sent off and you've cost your team the game, or potentially the game?
He's the captain. He's made a real poor error against St Mirren. He dallied on the ball and they lost it, and that cost him the game. Defensively against Rangers, he was poor defensively for the Arfield goal. But yesterday, just jockey him, just stay on your feet. He's going nowhere. He's wide as an ex-striker myself. You go into a wide area. You're looking for somebody to come over and make contact with you and get a foul or whatever. He comes through. He comes flying into a tackle at dangerous pace. It's a stonewall red card. There was no need for VAR. And then Aberdeen up against it. It was 93rd minute. And they hung on to extra time. But that's cost him the game, and as I said, he's captain. Aberdeen fans are raging at him. And you've got Shinnie, who was outstanding, come in, looks a real leader. I think if you're Jim Goodwin, you're having serious doubts about him being captain of the club going forward. I don't think you can trust him. He's shown on 2 occasions now that he's let the team down. Even in his media, his press duties as a experienced captain, he let himself down. So I think you'll see Shinnie being captain going forward, and I think Stuart might struggle to get back into the team now when he comes back for suspension.
Yeah, Ruffy, what's your take on the altercation in the middle of the park, Liam Scales and Ryan Kent? Was it worthy of a yellow? Was it worthy of more?
No, I think a yellow is okay. You know, I think you've got to take the conditions into consideration as well. You know, that in the heat of the battle, you know, these things are going to happen. You know, but again, you know, the referee's got to make the right decision.
Yeah, Liam Scales seemed to intimate that he felt as if he'd been punched by him. I didn't see it as a punch. I kind of was 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
I think you have to be
throwing him out the road. It looked as if he was sort of.
Yeah.
I think once you lift your hands, you go into quite awkward territory. You'd certainly go into dangerous territory if the referee wants to take a second look at it. I think you might have a heart and mouth moment, but I think it might have been worthy of a look.
Yeah, listen, managers get the credit when they make changes and they bring on a player that makes a difference or scores a goal that wins the game, and Michael Beale did that with Kilmarnock.
Yeah, he did, and I think Wright as well coming on. I thought changed the game as well. He obviously set up the goal, so I thought his changes, you know, really gave Rangers that impetus to go and win the game. So no, I think that his substitution showed that you know, he made the right decisions. He made the big calls at the big moment in the game. And he went through and scored. I didn't think Ryan Kent was a red card either. I don't think it's a red card. I think it's just a coming together in the middle of the park, and Scales just lost balance. Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear from the Rangers manager Michael Beale.
We've got an excellent game at the moment. You know, there's lots of good players in our league, and teams are really going for it. I've seen a difference in the way the coaching is in the league. I look at Aberdeen today with playing open football against us in a really good game. So I think we've got a good product. Just make sure that we present it in the right way.
Yeah, I think it's a good point what the Rangers manager makes, because it was a good game to watch, and obviously heartening that the opposition manager had come out and praised the match officials.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think my initial reaction when the challenge was made was that he was in trouble. You know, I was talking to one of my staff members at the time, and I felt that he was going to be shown the red card, and he was.
Yeah, okay, it's short and sweet from Jim Goodwin. But again, you know, managers often criticised, you know, when they're maybe ducking issues, but he didn't duck that one.
I don't think he could duck it. You know, it was there for everybody to see. You know, he'll know deep down it cost his team the game, and he would have to deal with the player himself, whichever way that is. You either put an arm round him or you give him an absolute scene to, you know, but... No, I think he knew that it was a chance gone, you know, because even if it went to penalties, they've still got a chance to win the game. Yeah,
okay, there you have it. We've given you an opinion on it, and I'll try and read out as many of the sensible opinions as well. And of course, I will obviously try and reply to as many of them as possible, the sensible ones that is, because as ever the key to being able to act on social media is not to engage with loonies.
Barisic will not talk about that tackle.
Well, what do you give us your thoughts on it?
I seen some people thinking it was a red card, but not for me. I don't think Barisic was a red card. I think he's no dangerous. It's no come in, you know, at speed. I think it was just come in for the side and we try to win the ball. I think the yellow card was a good decision, but a lot of people think that was similar to the Stewart tackle on social media.
What?
Yeah, if you give one, you've got to give the other. But
was that bad?
Pace as well.
Just about to say
different pace. There's no endangering an opponent.
And then there was a bit of retribution for that one, just about a minute and a half later.
There was a tractor.
Yeah, players don't forget, Ali.
Yes.
And of course, well, you get the opinions on all the games. Give us yours as well, whether it be Celtic Kilmarnock in the semi-final or indeed Rangers against Aberdeen. The upshot of it all is, despite all the controversy, it's going to be Rangers against Celtic in the Viaplay League Cup final. So it's the showcase that probably the sponsors are really looking forward to. It's going to be a great derby, because derbies have two sets of fans, equal amount of tickets, Ruffy. So that should be a good atmosphere in that one.
Fantastic.
Sorry, Ali, I'm not going to let it go. I'm just going to keep leathering them until eventually somebody sees sense.
A respectable day and a respectable time for this.
Sunday the 26th of February. I don't know, there's not been a...
9:30 at night?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the
What time was the final last year, does anybody know? Somebody can tell us on the feed. The time was the final at last year, the League Cup final?
It's usually 3 o'clock.
Usually 3 o'clock on the Sunday.
I think so. I think usually you get it's been announced for 12, but you usually I usually get about a half 12 o'clock hour, especially if it's big, the big clubs, and you're going to get huge support. Or what happens is, what they usually do, if Aberdeen make the final, they make it 10:30 so nobody can get there on a train. That's just a fact. Sorry, I just have to state that for my Aberdeen pals. One thing that happened in the game yesterday, which I found absolutely ridiculous and embarrassing, and it's very rare you hear it over the tannoy system. VAR is now down and it will no longer be used till the end of the game, and then hey, VAR's back. And as if he was saying it.
Just after the Kent punch.
He's just waiting for a cheer.
Pull that out.
It's just waiting for a cheer, isn't it? By the way, all abuse is Tam McManus for that last line, by the way, just in case. We will address that. But Ali, honestly, I've never heard anything so ridiculous and embarrassing in all my life.
Yeah.
There must be a fallback position.
The reaction was funny too, because you kind of amused both sets of supporters. There's a kind of unanimous feel about it in the stadium. I think it just added to the kind of a sense of amateurism. It really did. I think you see Nick Walsh running up to see what's going on, and then someone starts making a phone call to see what's happened to the Wi-Fi signal, and then the announcement comes over the tannoy, and then I think just leave it, leave it. But then it's back at 5 minutes.
No, and Nick Walsh loves VAR, by the way. I thought they were going to have to bring oxygen on for him because they didn't have VAR for him. But listen, at the end of the day, yet another ridiculous situation that we all found ourselves in. It could only happen in Scotland. This country is absolutely mental when it comes to that. Listen, we've got so much to talk about. We'll go back over that. I'll read out some of the messages as well. Try and keep them sensible because, as ever, we will offer you opinions on it. The other thing that we do say, and Tam loves it, and we are getting T-shirts printed now, I've decided, because obviously you mentioned it. We do offer opinion on this, and we'll read out your opinion too. Try not to be abusive because we'll just ban you. We're not going to engage with you. Last week was unbelievable. We make comments on this programme and we suffered a torrent of abuse from a couple of loonies with their own Twitter account. 10 years of PLZ soccer, Ruffy. We've been balanced, we've been fair. We certainly don't look into anybody's school that they go to, who they support as a boy. We've got a lovely mix of Man United, Arsenal, Rangers, Celtic, Hibs, Motherwell fans in our programme, and we don't.
Here.
No, we don't need to. We don't need to actually get to a situation where we engage with a group of people who try and make up lies about us. I thought last week was just typical of the way society's going at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've all been pretty fair, and I would even go as far as to say that any guests we have on, whether they're for Rangers or Celtic, have been pretty fair as well.
And another thing is, unfortunately for Alison, she's had to move house because of that.
Yeah, she's moved in.
She's now Sharon McNee, so if they call her Sharon, she's in a witness protection scheme.
Yeah, absolutely. How is the new house with the sniper? And where's your season book? Hand it in.
I know.
The benefit for me is that there are two Alisons who work in Scottish football journalism, and alas, the wrong Alison took my abuse.
Yeah.
So I think I owe a bottle of wine to someone.
Absolutely.
I think if you can't get somebody's name right, it might tell you that the accuracy of other comments might be significantly off.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we take great pride in the fact that lots of fans, we meet them on the street, love the programme, they're from every area. If you want just totally and utterly biased, opinion, we do promote the fact, go to Club TV elsewhere, go to fanzines, the lot. We'd love you to go because most of the people, 99.9% of the people who are with us on this programme right across social media, love their football and are very balanced and intelligent about it, and they can cane us. I have no problems with caning people, Ruffy, but some of the abuse and some people in the comments last week I found very distasteful and sad really for the individuals concerned.
Yeah. But was I one of the individuals?
No, it's just...
Because if you start having a go at me, I can't sleep at night.
No.
Tell him.
No, it's not
really upset, but
there's nothing.
Awake all night.
Well, I didn't.
Thistle thing, I thought you were off. That was you done.
I didn't lie awake at night about it. I just don't engage with people who are completely and utterly unhinged. But by the same token, we love the fact that people join us here. And every now and then, Tam said to me, "Get a T-shirt. This is not the show for you guys." And I think we're going to get them
I think we
printed.
should get a buzzer.
Eh?
No,
because that highlights some. Oh, you mean on here?
Yeah.
No, we love the noise ups and everything, but it's all about opinions. And by the way, if ever today, when we're sitting in that funeral, life is too short, and this is only a game that we love. It's not life or death, Ruffy. Frank McGarvey loved football, but out with that, it was all about his family and everything.
Yeah, I think he brought it home, particularly when all his grandchildren were there, and then he had quite a lot of grandchildren. They were the people that he doted on the most, and obviously to pass away so short. It was 64, 65? 66, and just a horrible thing when you've got all these grandchildren and what you would be looking forward to in future years. Yep.
Okay, let's switch our attention now to, we'll give you a little flavour of the Frank McGarvey funeral at the end of the programme, but let's switch our attention to Scottish Premiership, because on the Friday night, Ali, it was Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. If there ever is a grey area, I was utterly bemused that St Mirren never got a penalty in that defeat to Hearts.
I think amidst all the furore that we've had over handballs and what constitutes a handball, I think that might be one of the clearest ones that we've seen that's not given. And I think the player's reaction tells you everything. I think his body language and the aftermath of it, everything tells you. Even if you had a doubt in your head, I think even if you look at the player, if you look at the sheepishness of the action,
yeah,
I think
I don't know how unnatural that can be, Ruffy.
I'm disagreeing with three.
No,
you think that was a pen?
I'm not getting penalties for that.
No.
The ball's going out the park. There's not even a player getting on the end of it.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He hits the ball with his hand
out there and he tried to pull his hand away.
He still hit it. There's another way about it. Went like that.
No, it wasn't. He tried to pull his hand away because it skidded.
I think his reaction tells you everything.
No,
his reaction
I'm glad they never look at it. I'm fed up getting penalties for nothing.
Yeah,
that is a penalty for nothing.
Just out of curiosity, where do you live? Where were you brought up?
No,
Alan Roderick Ruff against the Green today. Unbelievable.
That's a penalty.
It's a penalty for nothing. But do you deserve?
Did you have the Predictor?
No, but would you deserve a penalty for that?
Yes. Yeah.
For why?
Because his hand bought it.
Yeah, but it's not stopping it from getting in the net.
And by the way,
so
somebody chips the ball, it's going out, and
the rule
to just
is
catch
rubbish.
Right.
The rule should be scrapped.
Well, can I just say something to you, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but see if that similar thing had happened in the League Cup final 26th of February, you wouldn't be as forthright with your voice giving it blah 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 blah. You only think there's not too many people in Paisley that'll hammer me.
I actually thought he tried to pull his hand away from it. It did hit his. I'm not disagreeing.
In a natural position.
I thought his hand
was
came
behind
up.
him.
That's the photograph you got.
So you think because the ball was going out of play?
No, I think because he made an attempt to pull his hand away and the ball hit his hand.
Yeah.
He didn't go like that. Did he go like that to stop the ball?
I thought his hand was there, then it went out.
I thought his hand went out.
Marlon says, I agree with Ruffy, because somebody's got to. Okay. So there you are. Thanks for that, Marlon. But I certainly, I have to say, I looked at that and I was bemused. In the end, though, Hearts got the winner, and it was fantastic. It was a great goal.
Yeah, and I think they've had a bit of form of late. They look as though they had a very inconsistent start to the season, Hearts, I think, trying to cope with the demands of playing European football and playing so many games in such a short space of time. I think you would expect them to go and kick on now and cement that third spot. I think big game on Wednesday night. They've got Aberdeen at Tynecastle. I think they can really nail down that third spot. I think just over the next couple of weeks.
I mean, they are really starting to look the real deal with the recruitment as well as good, Tam.
Yeah. I looked at their squad at the start of the season, and I thought they look strong this season, Hearts. They'd signed players. They've got a big squad, quality squad. Unfortunately, European campaign, I think, really hampered them early doors. Playing Thursday, Sunday, it was very difficult. But they stayed within touch going into the break, and now you're seeing a Hearts team that's motoring. I think they've only dropped 2 points, I think, after the break. So, yeah, getting players back cool. They've got a lot of good players, good blend in the squad.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the line of the week, sometimes we always like to talk about the player of the week or the manager of the month or whatever. The line of the week must surely go to Robbie Nielsen, who offered a fair assessment on some referees.
I think there's some referees you can talk to, and some I've got a bit of rapport with you. I think there's some that, have got personality and you can talk and understand it. Then there's others that don't have any of that. And unfortunately for me, I think the latter was this evening.
Yeah, okay. Boom, that's a baseball bat from Rory.
Another observation from the weekend. When did we start allowing TVs in the dugout so that the managers and the assistants could all look at what had happened at any
it might just be an iPad or something.
Well, it could be an iPad, Ruffy. You could easily... it's an iPad.
Why?
Because they want to check the decision.
It just makes it worse. So just get on with it and let the referee make it. It just makes it even harder that they're now going, give me a look at that and see what it is. And then they jump out the dugout and then they do what he does. He gets a yellow card.
Well, can I tell you what happened? Can I tell you what used to happen as well, by the way, Ruffy? I know you're just trying to be a noise up today for no reason whatsoever.
Honestly.
He's taken an extra tablet this morning. But I have to tell you, see when they weren't allowed iPads, what you had, I mean, when I was working for Sky and you were just sitting 3 rows
Let
back,
me see behind.
the whole dugout would look at you and go, was it? You know? And then you're even more pressure.
Remember you've got the big screens now
That wasn't an
stadiums
iPad
as well.
they had. That wasn't an iPad. That was a TV screen.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Okay. So Ruffy spotted a TV screen
32
from the
inch
newspaper.
telly?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I don't want to say something to you. It's amazing how we're still talking about decisions because Stephen Robinson wasn't happy, and he just obviously aired his opinion on that penalty that apparently from Ruffy never was.
Listen, the decisions I've been told it's a penalty. I've been told it's very similar to penalties that have been given against us, and all you want is a bit of clarity. And it's not the referee's fault. You've got other people sitting there watching, and they're not calling the referee over. And in the last 4 weeks, some of the penalties given, I find incredible. I find the rule incredible. I've stated that all along. So it's not just against my team.
I can't wait for the summit, Ali. We need a summit, honestly.
Wait till the one that comes after the end of February.
Yeah.
I think every manager in every club has probably had cause for grievance at points since VAR came in. I think there have been a number of contentious decisions, and I think it's interesting because for me that handball is entirely clear. Like I would have not one iota of doubt about that, yet you see it completely differently. Yeah. And I think that's what the problem is when it comes down to referees, that it's a subjective decision.
Well, it certainly opened up a can of worms on the show today because some of the messages are absolutely fantastic. Here's one. Paul says, is Ruffy tripping? And also Don says Ruffy for First Minister of VAR, and I like this one. Sean Barlow says today has been some of Ruffy's best punditry. There you are. It's
just going against everything. It's very refreshing, Ruffy.
It really is.
Not agree with him. You're not going to read the guys said about me.
I think Billy's really got a hand on it now. He says Tam was a season book holder at Ibrox. So well done to Billy for really researching that whole...
I was a season ticket holder at Celtic last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, it changes every now and there. But thanks to so many people. And Ruffy is correct. A bit old-fashioned thinking, but he just wants the game kept simple, says Stephen Smith. So who are we to argue? Listen, everybody's got an opinion on this one. But it's certainly at the forefront of our minds. People's interpretation of it, the understanding of it, maybe an explanation. I'd like to see, I continue to bash on about what was mentioned the last couple of weeks. I'd like to see Scottish football embrace the rugby ethos on this, which is quite simply referee and VAR, we can hear it. Let's get an explanation right there and then why you are not going to look at it, why you have made that decision when you have looked at it. I think it would clear things up quickly and certainly create a fair stooshy, but then I think people would get used to it. What do you think? Don't forget also that if you hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, then you can join the football family. The competition today, we'll play it again at the end. Chance for you to win a box of Attax football cards and also some starter packs and albums as well. It's really a great prize if you've got any kids who like to collect the football cards, and it's well worthy of giving them the brilliant start with the big box as well. So good luck with the competition, and if you hit the subscribe button, you get 2 chances to win on it, so doubling your chances of winning. And thank you to everyone who took part in the Rangers competition. So Motherwell won, Ross County won. A draw, both managers needed that like a hole in the head.
Yeah, I think it's very tight. I think you could sense the tension in that game. I think it's a game almost that neither team wanted to lose. I think the first goal was always going to be crucial. I thought Motherwell might have held out and gone on and got the win, but I think it will be like that between now and the run-in. there'll be a lot of tension. I think St Johnstone could get dragged right back down into that too. I think it'll be tense for games going on. I don't think there's a huge amount between a number of the teams that are at the bottom.
Yeah, the Motherwell manager Stephen Hamill not happy.
It was about doing the basics well and trying to get the ball into areas that we felt we could help them. I felt we'd done that at times. Again, it was really tough conditions, but even within that we had enough and we got ourselves into a position where we should be coming away with 3 points for sure.
Yeah, he I think if you just look into their abysmal record at the moment, there's one thing from Stephen Hamill, who was a great defender. He's looking at his back line just continually making those mistakes that are annoying him.
I'm not sure about the two centre-halves, Ricky Lamy and Solholm. I think every time I've seen them, they look the weak link at the back for Motherwell. I think he's got to get centre-halves in there, he's got to get better quality defenders. The Ross County goal is so basic. It's a long ball, flicked on, and the boy runs clean through and scores. Never happened.
As was the Nisbet one the game previous.
Yep, Nisbet, the defending for two of those goals, balls into the box, were poor. So I think that first things first, Hammy's got to look at strengthening centre-backs.
Well, if you're looking at Stephen Hamill and thinking he was unhappy, Malky Mackay, he was defiant.
I've got a group in there at the moment who are disappointed they didn't win, and you know that's not a team that are destined to go down. So right now I've got a team that are fighting for everything to actually, and I think again, you know, I talked to various managers in this league and most are in agreement that there's fine lines between 7 and 8 teams in this league.
I can't argue with them. It's so tight down at the bottom. I don't think Ross County are out of it, Ruffy, if only for the fact that I know that he's going to bring players in. Ross County do that every January window.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see whether Malky falls into that category. I know every manager likes new players, you know, but you don't want to be taking too many. Sometimes it can disrupt the dressing room for the guys that have been there up until this season, a part of the season. So. No, I think the basic thing is winning and 3 points. 3 points is everything. If you can get two wins back to back, 6 points, that could take you up to near sixth place in the league. You know, but draws when you're down at the bottom are just no good to anybody.
Yeah, Niall Cade's a big Motherwell fan. He says, for me, Motherwell, the conditions were hard. We should have won the game. Poor defending from Lamy for the County goal, and I like the look of Crankshaw and Mandarin. So. That's two players that are going to have to contribute in quickly in case Hammy becomes under more pressure. Is Callum Davison under that type of pressure as well?
I think he has some credit in the bank still, but I think it's inevitable. I think when you go in 5 successive league defeats, and if you look at what they've got coming up now, they've got Rangers in the Cup, then they've got Rangers in the league, and then they're at Fir Park a midweek night at the start of February, which could be a huge game. That game against Motherwell could be massive. You wouldn't anticipate that they would take anything off of Rangers, and then so you're talking 6 league defeats and then off to Fir Park to play a team who are also fighting for their lives there. So I think it becomes inevitable that questions start to be asked. I think it's just the nature of the business that we're in.
Here's Callum Davison.
Again, for me, it's look at last year, 4 games goals, we lost her. To me, not good enough. I thought. You start a game well and Livingston were very clinical, but again we gave them too easy an opportunity to get a shot and goal. 2 chances they had up the pitch, scored 2, and then it's always an uphill battle.
Just wondering, do you think PLZ were at that game?
I don't know, I thought you were going to die during the break there, you alright?
No, but I'm alright, but I'm looking at the microphone. Claire's done brilliantly there. I think she's got the biggest giant microphone there.
That is tremendous advertising for PLZ there. Well done, Claire.
Yeah, absolutely. And
bigger than Callum Davinson's head.
Absolutely, and I'm sure somebody will write a letter to fans to complain about it. Anyway, as far as David Martindale's concerned, what a 3 points, what a good result.
And he's been training in my environment now for 2-3 weeks this season and a week to 10 days last year, so I now know that he's up to in and around the level of what I need. But what I like about him is he does what he says in the tin. He's a defender, he likes defending, and first and foremost, anybody that knows me, I like players that do their job first and foremost, but he can actually play a wee bit as well.
Yeah, he's talking about his Dominican Republic centre-back, Louis De Lucas. Now, if you're talking about centre-backs, Ruffy, you'll love this. 6'6", aggressive, good on the ball, loves a tackle. You know, it's effectively signed Franz Beckenbauer.
Yeah, if he's producing the goods, you might think he is that, you know, but certainly that was a wonderful win for them.
Well, wait a minute, that's what you love in a centre half, don't you?
Oh, okay.
6'6" comes for crosses, so you don't need to.
Yeah, and he makes challenges, yep.
If he loves a tackle, I hope he's not got any sheets in his bed, because his skin will be hanging off his legs on that plastic park.
Yeah, absolutely. But I tell you, you've got to give him credit, as Ruffy says. David Martindale, great job.
Yep, he does. In the last 2 weeks, I've went for Livingston to win in the Predictor. I'm the only one. I think they're underrated. I think amongst not only pundits but fans, I think that David Martindale's done a fantastic job there. They've got very, very little resources. They've got an AstroTurf pitch. They've got an AstroTurf training park that they train on. He's not got a big budget. You know, he's probably one of the lowest budgets in the league, but he gets every single ounce out of their players. They're organised, they're strong, they've got good quality as well. They got up there 4-2. St Johnstone very rarely lose 4 goals to a team out with Celtic and Rangers, so 2 great away wins back to back. They're up to 4th now, and they've got Dundee United at home on Wednesday night, I think. So listen, they've got every opportunity to go and push for 4th or even 3rd.
Yep, absolutely. Taking one of our new reporters to that game, Livingston against Dundee United. Really looking forward to it. Don't mention his name yet. Hibs 2, Dundee United 2. It takes a brave pundit to go for a 2-2 in the Predictor. Only a fool sometimes goes for 2-2. But if you're brave and you know what's happening in it,
yep, you got your reward in the last minute. But listen, I'll tell you what, Kevin Nisbet came back absolutely transformed. 7 goals in 6 games. For me, over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks, the best player in the league. I think he's the best player in the league at the minute. Kevin Nisbet, there's nobody better than him at the minute in Scottish football, I'm telling you. You know, the goals he scores, his second goal, strong, holds the defender off, turns, gets his shot away. The first goal was a great finish. You know, hat-trick last week. He's absolutely flying, and his goals are probably keeping the manager on the job at the minute.
Interesting comment there, Ali. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think if you base it on current form, I think he's a standout. I think over the last few weeks he's come back. I think he looks a better player since coming back from injury. I think he looks very lean. I think he looks as though he's clearly been doing a fair bit of work. He's come back, hit the ground running, straight back in, and I think with strikers you get a sense, just a confidence. I think you can just sense that he's got the appetite for it, he's got the hunger. Yeah, I think he's been excellent.
Yeah, okay. You like him, Ruffy?
Yeah, the last couple of weeks he's been brilliant, you know, and anybody that can score that amount of goals, you know, we've seen a lot of good strikers in the league go through right barn spells, you know, they don't score for about 2 months, so to score that amount and just coming back will be really pleasing for him.
Yep, okay, there's the Premiership table for you to have a look at, and boy is it tight. Ali at the bottom, just 3 points, and just 10 points between 6th and 12th.
Yeah, I think the bottom 6 I think is very tight. Even you take Hibs out, I think from St Johnstone all the way down, there's just not much between them. I really don't think. I think it is fine lines. I've seen a bit of St Johnstone, I've seen a bit of Dundee United in the last couple of weeks. Kilmarnock too. I think there's not much between them. I think it will be particularly fraught until between now and the end of the campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, just on that point, I mean, I know I don't want to take it off on a different tangent. In fact, I might save it for another show on the size of the league, because it is so cutthroat, and we do enjoy the playoffs as well. Certainly worthy of a programme on its own. Here's a predictor, Ruffy, and it's getting tight all over, because you're on 184, I'm on 179, Tam's on 173. Alison McConnell, last year's champion, is just really mid-table mediocrity on 159. And Tam Cowan,
mid-table mediocrity.
No, it's not, Ali. It's not. 152. Listen, you won a trophy last year. Stop losing confidence. Tam Cowan on 152, and then Hugh McDonald on 133. Ruffy, and you're still out in front, Ruffy.
Yeah, that late goal you had with Nisbet, it just pulled me back 5 points. You know, I could just see it when it hit the back of the net. You know that was the only thing you'd be thinking about. 5 points closer.
Two of us high-fived each other. I was obviously delighted on Saturday show. I high-fived him because I was delighted at him. But he kept the tweets quiet until I went home and checked it.
I never checked it. I honestly was too busy worrying about diffusing bombs elsewhere. But nevertheless, still a worthy 5 points. I'll tell you one thing that is rather worrying in it, and again, it's creeping in, you know, fan behaviour right across, football. Somebody's going to get seriously hurt, Ruffy, because the conduct of some people. I mean, the Arsenal keeper was assaulted by a Spurs fan in their London derby. It's not good. I mean, players have a responsibility to try and not get to a situation where you try and engage with a set of supporters that really are, you know, are hurting from losing a game, and there's always an element in there that, you know, you can't legislate for their conduct.
No, you can't, you know, and I'm led to believe he was winding them up throughout the game. There was a bit of banter going on, but you've got to rely on the security at the games, you know, to stop anybody. They should be very vigilant in everything that's happened, particularly at full time, and anybody they notice, and that's what they're getting paid for, and they're getting paid good money as well, so they need to be a lot more tighter.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to so many of you for obviously your comments on the games, VAR, the contentious decisions as well. It was quite an emotional day today because we were lucky enough to have Frank on the show about 5 or 6 weeks ago. In fact, I think we were the last show that he appeared on, along with he did a wonderful podcast with Tommy Sheridan, and of course came on this programme with myself, just reflecting on his great career. It was quite emotional at the end, but today it was all about around 400 mourners from right across football, just paying tribute to not only a wonderful person, but a great footballer.
We're here at St Anthony's Church in Rutherglen for the funeral of Celtic and St Mirren legend Frank McGarvey. Frank sadly passed away on New Year's Day, aged 66. He made over 500 appearances in professional football and won every medal available in Scottish football. He was capped 7 times for Scotland, and today 400 mourners from across Scottish football will pay their respect to a footballing legend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was good to see Adam out there, and we put it out live, just all the people that made the journey out there. Celtic and St Mirren and Clyde all thanked by the family for their contribution to Frank, and especially in the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think anybody got up and said a few words about Frank would great. Tony Fitzpatrick got up from St Mirren and said a few words as well, but I think his son said the most, and I think he just touched everybody, you know, probably his own family more than anybody else, who knew what Frank had been going through in the latter days. Always very positive, you know, as you would imagine, but no, I always find these things very sad.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was just heartening to hear his son talking about his dad and how the family felt about him, and the one thing that I think brought a great laughter, and this is the type of thing that Frank was like, because he would drink a cup of tea and he'd go, you know, that's the best cup of tea I've had ever. It's just magnificent. He would always go and do something and then share the experience with you and say it's the best ever, because he was such an infectious character.
Yeah, listen, I've only been in Frank's company once, and he's a very positive character, very positive, you know, never negative, and I think you like to surround yourself with people like that who are always positive, you know, and with good energy, and Frank always had good energy, so, you know, you used to obviously at the funeral day, I'm sure that a lot of laughs, you know, a celebration of his life rather than a sad day, and I'm sure he'll be sadly missed by everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think from Alison, Ruffy, Tam and myself, it just sums up basically listening to everyone today. You know, life is short. 66 is not an age to pass away. He was taken far too young, and over and above that, just puts into perspective, it's only a game of football we're talking about. It doesn't merit abuse and people losing the nut and obviously abusing everyone. It's all right for Ali being able to move house, but Ruffy, I don't know where I'd put half the memorabilia, you know. What would we do with all the frames and everything? We'd never be able to move. No. We've got to stay here.
No, it's not even worth thinking about, you know, and the prices of the move of them are Ali.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon. Now, what have I told you? She's getting a Ruffy perm for next week and transform herself completely. Listen, last week we gave away a Rangers shirt and a Europa League final programme. This week it's a great competition, and if you hit the subscribe button, you've double your chances of winning.
PLZ Soccer has teamed up with Attax to give you the chance to win this fantastic box of all your favourite Scottish football stars. We're also throwing in a starter pack and 2 multi-packs to give your boy or girl the perfect start to their collection of all their favourite SPFL players. To win this fantastic prize, all you have to do is answer this simple question: who is the current PFA Scotland Player of the Year? Post your answer in the comment section below, and to double your chances of winning, all you have to do is subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Good luck.
Yeah. good luck with that competition. And also coming up tomorrow on the programme, we will look ahead to the midweek fixtures in the Scottish Premiership, as well as probably continue the arguments over VAR, match officials, you name it. It'll all be still in the melting pot tomorrow. Hopefully you can join us for that. Tam Cowan will be with us on the couch. So that's Tuesday to look forward to. From Tam McManus, Alison Ruffy and myself, Peter Martin, thank you very much to you for watching today.